Expenditure Sales Tax Committee to order. And we'll ask Mr. Tyndall, would you mind leading us in the
Absolutely.
pledge? Thank you, sir.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A little reverb over there, I thought I forgot. That'd be bad.
Okay, do you want me to call roll? Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Merritt?
Here.
Ms. O'Brien is absent. Mr. Tyndall?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Ms. Wilson is absent, and Chairman Morris.
Present. Is there anything from the audience that someone would like to bring forward for us? Carrying on then, discussion of meeting dates and reappointments. And do we need to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Make a motion, we approve them, the
Let's
meetings.
approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second the emotion. Emotion. Demotion.
Demotion.
That's fine. Okay.
Stand.
Are you gonna break out the song next?
That's what, who's that, Smokey Robinson?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Merritt?
Yes.
Mr. Tyndall?
Yes.
And Ms. Morris?
Yes. And then we can go on to the discussion of meeting dates and reappointments. I'm sure that anybody that wants to is more than welcome to come get the application off the website. You printed them out.
Yes, I have them at the front desk.
All you
I
do
think
is
they're on
just-
Facebook.
Do we have
Right.
anybody that didn't want to be on the committee?
Everybody who is up for renewal has reapplied
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yes.
that's hopeful. Yeah.
for planning committee.
Yeah.
Yes.
Planning or infrastructure?
I'm sorry, infrastructure.
But somebody else could still. if
They can
wanted.
still
Sure,
apply, yes,
They could still
yes.
apply.
That's,
Okay.
and that's what council's opinion was,
Right.
that's what they wanted to happen.
Okay, that's fine.
Planning, I have 2 up for renewal and I have 1 already reapplied.
Cool. All right. As far as the meeting dates, I think that the 5th Tuesday works
Does that
very
work? I just wanted to
well,
make sure.
Unless it's a specific holiday, like if it's Christmas Day or something like that, then it might not work.
Our next one is October 31st. Yes, so
Woo,
that's why I put upcoming
not
events.
gonna
I wasn't
work
sure.
for me,
Yeah,
'cause I do that thing at the V.
the VFW,
I'll
right, you have
second
to,
that.
right, and that's a big,
So
yeah.
let's, we'll see how it rolls. We may wanna pick another time around that,
I
if
know
there's
we've-
anything to
And
discuss.
who knows what the city may do.
At that point, right, and I
Right.
did look into, cause I know we've had discussion about how many times we meet, and we were,
Right.
4 times a year. Callaway meets twice a year, so I don't think there is a
It's kind of
requirement.
flexible.
I think so too.
What is the minimum?
There's not really a guideline, and I was trying to see,
It-
Panama City Beach meets a lot, or Panama City does, because they have a lot to do with this,
Yeah,
a lot more
sure.
money, so. I know Callaway does meet twice a year though.
Well, like I say, if something comes up and we need to have a meeting, then we can schedule one.
Okay, that's perfect. Great.
Tony spends all the money,
I know,
we'll have a
so,
meeting, emergency meeting, right, Tony?
Yeah, well, here's what's all spent, we've gotta hope some of our bids come in under.
yes,
I
would
think
be
the
Really?
agenda I put out there may be the wrong agenda. Did you guys have 2 items on it or 1?
one.
One, I think that's the wrong, the one I gave you guys. The one that was advertised actually has 2 agenda
And
items
what's
on
the
it.
other agenda item then?
It's update from Mr. Summerlin.
Oh, that's Avi.
He showed up. I want to make sure.
So we'll make that number 3
Yes.
because, okay.
The advertised agenda was correct. I just copied the one that was on my screen.
No
It was
worries.
not.
Mr. Summerlin, you're on, sweetie.
Good evening. I just wanna give you kind of update where we're at with the paving. Talked to the engineers, we're looking at going out for bid June 6th. And we should have the bids in by July 18th to possibly award a contractor for the previous discussed roads that were gonna be paved. We're hoping to see what this bid comes in at, like to know kinda how far the money will go.
Mm-hmm.
Our next proposed area in the infrastructure dollars for paving is probably gonna be Stratford and Dover. The reason we've kind of picked those two roads is it's about the same amount of surface area as that we're going out for bid right now, so the numbers should be close. And also, it's probably the next two roads on our list that won't have any kind of drastic repairs being done from the SRF project or the water main replacement. So we don't want to put a new road down and tear it up.
Tony, I got a question.
Sure.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but on this spreadsheet they showed us here,
Mm-hmm.
it goes from 2000, it's a running until 2017 to a current time,
Yes, sir.
which is interesting. Were these streets where it says resurfacing up at the very top?
Mhm.
Was that, when were those picked?
So basically, when Bay County started this project, they basically said, what are your main goals? What are your main topics? So at that time, we collaborated with the clerk and the mayor and some other individuals to figure out what could we do with infrastructure money. And at that time, they sat down at that time in 2017 and wrote down what were the worst roads in the city. And that's where we categorized, year one, because it was a 10-year plan. To year one, we were going to try to do this road and this road. Well, the first time when we went out to bid for it, we actually got a lot more roads done that first year than we were counting on, because the money kind of went pretty good ways and the paving went a pretty good ways. Since then, everything's kind of drastically increased and everything's cut down. So in the other council meetings, I've told the city council that we have to look, as far as the city has to look at, start budgeting paving money that we're going to pave outside of the infrastructure money, because we have roads that need to be paved that aren't recognized under the infrastructure money. So that's what the city council's got to start deciding on, is are we going to set money also aside to pave other roads?
Well, yeah, so, but, okay, so at one point in time, infrastructure, everybody got together and said, these are our worst roads.
And we have that now. Like I said, if you would like a list of that, we have a list. We go out and grade all the roads in the city. We got a map and we write all the grades on them, and then we got a spreadsheet. And we basically grade every road from A to F, what the condition is, how bad it is, and that's kind of how they've moved around, as far as have they gotten worse after the storm with all the trucks driving up them and
Right.
stuff happening.
So I assume some of those are they on this
Yes.
list? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't know, I'm looking, I was thinking, well, I'm looking at a list from 2017.
Yeah, well, like I said,
Yeah.
they were bad then. They're still bad now, but they're not as bad. Like I said, the ones that have been paved are still in great shape. But the ones, like I said, Stratford hasn't been paved in a very long time. Neither is Dover. The ones, like I said, Lance Street is like Swiss cheese right now with all the holes that we've got cut in it. Thornton Lane's kind of in the same area. And we're moving along. We're also going to, which I'm going to announce at the 5th Tuesday, is that we're going to probably look at shutting off. We have one intersection at Thornton there that has 3 valves in it that's in the road. So mid-June, we're going to shut off the water in Donaldson Point and change those 3 valves before that intersection gets paved. So that way we have brand new valves under the road, we have a brand new road, and we shouldn't have to mess with it for another 10 to 20.
Yeah, somebody talked about boat race. I remember boat race.
Boat races scheduled to be paved now.
Oh, okay.
So-
We're going to pave boat race. What we're looking at is paving boat race from Tyndall Parkway right up to 11th Street. The reason we're not going beyond 11th Street is the Melinde Pond is looking to have some crossover drains, and we don't want to continue on and then cut the new road.
I got you. Okay, well, that's interesting to know, because I was looking at these and I didn't know what had been done and what had not been done, because it was like a 6-year stretch.
Yes, sir. And like I said, I can, in the next form, I'll make sure I'll highlight which roads on here. We'll get colored on which roads have already been completed off
Yeah,
of that.
that'd be good.
Because we were trying to do it year by year by year, but then we had to kind of bounce around and move in those, because different projects, like I said, we really should be over here on Pitts, and we should be over here on Germain and Pratt getting those roads done, but they're fixing to get an 8-inch water line go down the road. So with all that heavy equipment and all digging next to the road, it's gonna tear the roads up.
Yeah, between that and this money we get from the state's not enough to pave all of the roads.
No, and that's why the city's gonna have to look at trying to offset infrastructure and that. Hopefully, we can get both to go simultaneously. We can go out to bid for Stratford and Dover, and then also add 1 or 2 more roads, so that while we have the bid here, we can get more.
I appreciate that.
No
'cause
problem.
I was a little confused. I didn't know.
No
if
problem.
it
Like I said, I'll try to get highlighted
yeah,
on there
updated
which ones have
maybe
already
list what's been done what's
already.
not been
Because
done.
there's the whole section over here of Live Oak, Main, Parker Street, Cedar Street, all those all off there already been done.
Good, good, good.
Anything else exciting?
No, just hopefully that, when we get to the time that they have to continue this, that they vote to continue it, so that way we'd still have,
26, is it 26?
Yeah.
Yes.
2026 is when we revote.
Can I covenant?
Hmm?
Do I need to?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think I know your address though by now.
Pat Fosick, 1344 Stratford. Two things. I had heard that Bay County's trying to put it on the general election in 2024 because they have a bigger turnout instead of waiting till 26.
They've discussed it, but I don't think that's a done deal yet.
No,
I
but
will-
I've
yes.
heard that that's what they're trying to do. And then that way everybody knows we've got that 2-year buffer knowing that it is going to continue.
Exactly.
Another question for Mr. Summerlin on the manhole replacement on Highway 22A. I understand that's done. I guess that was done back in 17, so that was probably one of the first projects. It says original bid was 61, but the actual was 98. Did they find stuff or?
yes, ma'am, when they went down beside the manhole, they actually found a 10-inch force main sitting next to the manhole. So they had to bring in a contractor to come in and do like a line stop on the line, and they had to move the force main away from the manhole before they could replace it.
Okay, so because you just said that we're going out for bids June 6th for a July 18 response, I would anticipate, other than finding something like that, which obviously has to be repaired, the bids should be pretty true to what we're actually going to have to
Yes.
pay, barring some kind of unforeseen.
Yeah, I mean, technically, when you're going under the ground, there's the unknowns, but normally
yeah.
it's just paving. It should be real.
Oh,
simple.
that's true. That's
It's
true.
just paving.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Never knew manholes were that expensive.
Well,
Yeah,
honestly,
well-
we didn't think it would ever be that expensive either, and then when we got down there, the biggest thing that made it a thing was that when it was put in, it was never restrained, so they were scared to even move the manhole with that 10-inch line just blowing apart,
Oh, wow.
and because it was back then, they didn't have restraints.
Yeah, we live, we grow.
Mhm.
What about, I just had a question, and it may just be, it hasn't been, I realize that this data comes in late, just like all data, like we get the money and then, 2 months later we get the notice and 2 months later we get the money, is that
Right.
correct?
That would be, can you answer?
Right, like we just got April's money in,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
it's on here. May's money won't come until June.
Right,
We're
okay,
normally-
well, that's not uncommon. But as far as, like, you get down here at 23, there's nothing, as far as, I guess, I'm looking at the top up here, it says street paving, and then down here at 23, I don't see anything. Well, there's nothing past 22. Is that just cause we didn't type it in, or?
We haven't, have you paved anything, Tony, or done anything? We haven't used
We
anything.
haven't paved anything since the first project. I said that was paved right before Hurricane Michael. We did a bunch of streets and everything.
Right.
And then Hurricane Michael came and then kind of all the paving got put on halt.
You're gonna have numbers in there now that he's going out for bid on the 6th.
Okay.
That'll change it.
So we're kinda starting over with
Had a little
bids.
pause in there. Yes, June
Gotcha.
6th, they'll send them out.
I hated accounting when I was in college. Hated it. Okay. I don't see anything on here that, that knocks my socks off in terms of, maybe just updating some of the paving stuff or anything up here that we've done. It's just, I don't want you to do more, computer work, but,
That's not a problem.
get it up, get it up to date as much as we can. And, so that's our guiding, in other words, this top column up here,
Right,
that's what we're gonna do.
that was the task.
That was our,
That's
that was our
what-
needs.
That was the vision then.
At the
Okay.
time,
And
yeah.
basically like the sidewalks and everything, we got blessed with the sidewalks, DOT
Right.
stepped in and blessed us with those. And then like I said, the SRF project, we're still hopefully getting closer to getting all the easements and their documents recorded with the attorney and everything, and then we'll move forward with going out to bid for that large large scale project and see how the financing, because right now I believe it's, don't quote me on it, but I believe it's like a 33% match that we're getting on that. I know it's in the 30s that is forgiven. So 30% of whatever the bid comes in will be forgiven.
What project is that? I'm sorry.
The SRF water main is the three of them right next to the,
Got it.
that's all, those three projects are basically all going out as one bid. Once we get all the easement documents recorded, it'll go out one bid, and then we'll see what that project's gonna cost.
Well, I don't have any other, I was
Anything
just trying
from
to
you,
explain
Kyle?
it.
On
I mean,
any-
understand
No,
it.
Any
Any
ideas
questions, call me
about,
anytime.
you'd mentioned before
You're at
about
work and I can
helping
never
them
find you.
maybe find a grant writer?
Sure. You know, I'm always open to helping. So if
We are writing, an RFP for a grant writer right now.
Great.
We're, yes.
yeah,
If you happen to have an RFP for a grant writer, that'd be great.
I'll see what I have, and if I have anything, I'll get it to you. But-
Okay.
But I've been, you know, talking to contacts and just saying, hey, does anyone know any grant writers? Because I think Parker may be looking soon.
That's
Right,
the best thing to
because
do,
of the
yeah.
price, it has to go out for an RFP.
Oh,
So,
Right.
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yes, and council has voted for that, so recommended. So.
Okay.
But I think that's an amazing step for our city, especially little cities, because the amount that you can bring in is just from grants it's out there, and a lot of people don't invest in that because they think we're not big enough to invest in that. Well, that's why you should, because it definitely helps.
Well, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Good, no, so we will,
We're gonna
Anybody
go
else?
to
Tat,
the-
you got anything, or?
No, I think I'm good. I wanna spend some more time with this, but yeah. I'm good.
Yeah, a lot of it's historic, and it's, you know, I just, I was thinking, I mean, that's already done, you know,
Well, I guess that's the thing, and.
just the criteria that I was looking at.
I don't mind.
They won't hear you, and
I
if
don't
not, yes, thank you.
You sort of started the question, Mr. Tyndall, when you were asking about the surfacing, you know, the street resurfacing, and I understand we probably had to get a plan in place, but thinking, okay, this was 2017 before Michael, then Michael hit, the world turned upside down. The roads were bad then, they're probably worse now, but for example, living on Stratford, I'm sort of surprised that that's gonna be repaved. It's nice, but I'm sort of surprised, because it seems like it's a pretty good road to me. Sewell.
If you wanna swap Stratford for West Park, I'll,
Okay, yeah. Sewell, you know, that little bump down there when you're heading out towards Tyndall Parkway is a mess. But I wonder, is there an option, not knowing all the details of the infrastructure committee, because I'm still trying to find some stuff on Bay County about how it works. I've done some research. But is there an option to change our minds on some of this stuff?
That's the man that makes those decisions in the council.
Now, and like I said, the infrastructure, the way it works is the infrastructure, if we change roads where the infrastructure can vote on changing their roads, and then the council has to accept their change.
Okay, so there is that opportunity,
Right,
though,
now,
to
see, like Lake Drive-
reevaluate.
Like Lake Drive is not on here,
Right.
but because Lake Drive became an emergency, then I came to them and said that we really needed to address Lake Drive. The flip side of that is now we're taking money to pave Lake Drive, that's not gonna fund now one of these roads.
Right, but Lake Drive again is more critical.
Correct.
So that's the thing. I mean, to put a plan together so many years ago, yeah, we need a 5 or 10 year plan, but then I think Michael changed a lot of things. And just like you said with this bid on the manhole, finding something that's going to cost more money, I hope we do have that flexibility to come back to the committee, ask the committee, and then go back to council to say
But we
priorities
get
have shifted
our
for whatever the
information
reason.
from Tony,
yeah, Tony's,
Perfect.
And
Tony's,
then-
yeah,
yeah.
we,
so,
Like I said, if there was a
And we-
need of a road that,
Thank
we
you.
would come back with an updated list.
there is an, I mean, we can change
Mhm.
priorities if it's something that needs to be.
Right, well, that's why Lake Drive became such a priority is because it wasn't recognized, and the city at the time didn't have any way to fund getting the road fixed, except for designated infrastructure money to do it.
Got it.
Did you talk about that you just did walk every street in town? Did you tell him that?
No,
Oh, great.
we literally did that.
They literally walked every street and named every
What are you
pothole.
campaigning for?
Wow.
We wanted an accurate
And I can
Wow.
forward that to
ledger
you
of what
guys.
damage we found in the city, and the only way to do it was to measure it off and walk it.
Wow,
So, and that's when we found out how many sidewalks we had broken and how many
right.
drain issues we had.
Wow.
And, I mean, there's a lot you find out there when you walk.
So I have a question,
Mhm.
since we're just having a nice little conversation. Then on a corner of Park and North Lakewood, where there's water gushing down between the yard and the street. I mean, it's just like bubbling out of the ground, running down.
Right now,
You're talking about the corner house on Park in North Lakewood? They have a heat pump,
Aye, okay.
and their heat pump drains constantly into the ditch.
Okay, that just,
It's odd, and everybody thinks it's a water break, but we have 3
Okay.
of them in Parker
Okay.
that
be a mighty big.
come to
heat.
summertime, they just pump
yeah,
like no tomorrow.
it fills the ditch up pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's literally a 3/4 or 1-inch line that just runs nonstop.
Must be a big house.
it is. It's a
That's-
2-story with like 5 bedrooms, 6
Oh my goodness.
bedrooms, yeah. It's a big house.
Big house or a crummy heat pump.
Right. Better have a well to run that kind of water.
I'd hate to pay their electric bill.
Yeah. So, does anybody have anything else? Then let's call it a night.
Perfect.
I love that.
That's
The hammer of power.